Welcome to Your Landlord Resource podcast. Many moons ago, when I started as a landlord, I was as green as it gets. I may have had my real estate license, but I lacked confidence and the hands-on experience needed when it came to dealing with tenants, leases, maintenance, and bookkeeping. After many failed attempts, fast forward to today, Kevin and I have doubled our doors and created an organized, professionally operated rental property business. Want to go from overwhelmed to confident? If you're an ambitious landlord or maybe one in the making, join us as we provide strategies and teach actionable steps to help you reach your goals and the lifestyle you desire, all while building a streamlined and profitable rental property business. This is Your Landlord Resource podcast. Hey there, landlords. We hope that as you listen to this episode, you're all doing well. So this podcast airs just before the new year, and Kevin and I have some news to share. And that is, we're going to be taking a break and pushing pause, basically, on the podcast for now.
We've been going back and forth on this for many months, actually, and we might have shared this before, but producing this podcast, I think we figured out collectively between Stacy and I, it takes us about 12 hours. And if I'm being honest, most of that falls on Stacy. We do a lot of research on our topics because we want to make sure the information that we pass along is as accurate as possible. And we do somewhat follow a script because for us, the content we provide is educational and it also has our opinions and experience mixed into each episode. So there's content planning with social media to support each episode. There's research, writing a script, and then the recording and editing the episodes, as well as all the show notes, graphics, posting to our website, video promos to our social media sites. As you can see, it's quite a process.
Yeah, and you guys, we do this all ourselves. And for those of you who may think that we do it to make money, we don't. From time to time, we will promote software that we use and works well for us, or a product that we have found that helps save us money by doing it ourselves. But for the amount of time each week that we put into the content, we had to have a come to Jesus conversation about our time and where we spend it best. Because along with the podcast, we also produce a newsletter and social media content 6 days a week. So when we really look at the time that we put forth for Your Landlord Resource, realistically, we're looking at 20 to 25 hours a week. Now, could we hire someone to take the burden off of us, but still get that content out? Yeah, sure we could. But it's not our experience that you're going to be hearing about. And that is what we want you all to learn from. You can read books on most everything that we discuss, but we wanted to share how we do things and the different things that we consider before we make decisions to do anything that has to do with our landlording business. Now, with all that said, 2025 needs to be more of a year for us. We need to take that time that we put towards the podcast and take care of ourselves, our home, and our landlording business as it's going to grow significantly in the coming months.
Yep, it's time for us to be selfish in a good way. I mean, we plan to prioritize ourselves and get active again. Not that you need to know all of this, but we both have gained a few pounds, and as we get older, it's harder to lose. So we want to focus on being active, doing more strength training, because it's important for us as we age. And of course, eating healthier. Now, I will say we really don't eat bad. And for the most part, when Stacy cooks, we eat pretty clean. But we have noticed that as we have gotten busier and busier, trying to work on Your Landlord Resource, our properties, and helping out family, we tend to eat out more and exercise less. So here we are. We've gained weight, not eating as well as we like, not getting in regular activities, and for lack of a better term, just feeling kind of blah. So now it's time to take our own advice. We often tell you all to find balance. I mean, we have episodes where we discuss planning and organizing your time, all the things that we did do, and they worked pretty darn well when we followed through. But when we find ourselves up until all hours of the night or missing out on doing things we enjoy, like taking our dog Gracie to the beach or going on a hike or just sitting at home to watch a movie and get some much needed downtime, just because we have a podcast episode we need to drop the next day, that's when we started to feel overwhelmed.
You guys, we want you to know that this is not a decision that we take lightly. For many months, we have contemplated how we could slow down.
And we still are doing this, by the way.
Right. Unfortunately, the one thing that we can, and I hate to say eliminate because that seems permanent, but the one thing that takes the most time from our lives is this podcast. You guys, as we sit here today recording this podcast, we have 2 roof leaks that we're battling. We have a garage so packed with stuff that we have to shimmy sideways to get through. And we have a beautiful home office that has boxes of old papers that need to be gone through and recycled, shredded, or properly filed, like 4 or 5 feet high.
And let me jump in here to remind everyone that a year ago, our office space that we rented experienced a huge roof leak that destroyed much of the space. And we had to basically get everything out of there within a few hours to minimize the damage to our office furniture and files. A lot of what Stacy is talking about is from that, where we just shoved all of it wherever we could fit it in at the time.
Right, exactly. Our home, which we love, you guys, is in dire need of some TLC. We have several areas with dry rot. We need a new roof, and we have clutter everywhere. So basically, we put our time into caring for our rentals so that our tenants don't have to experience any maintenance issues, and completely put our own personal home on the back burner. And when it all comes down to it, it's too much for us to handle. I don't want to get all weepy here, but a couple years ago, I lost my brother. It was sudden, and it made valuing life painfully aware to both of us. And when it came to cleaning out his personal belongings, Kevin and I, along with my parents and some other family, took that on. And as I get older, I do realize time is going faster. And having less time in the day, you tend to not handle what you need to keep your house in order. And if I'm being super honest, I want to take time to clean out our house and simplify it now. I don't want to burden my family with that task. We plan on having homes in Idaho and San Diego someday soon, so we can stay there when we're visiting the kids. And can you imagine having 3 or 4 homes that they have to clean out?
And our personal lives aside, we still have a lot of work to do to put into our properties. I mean, we have some work to do in both Sacramento and Idaho, and the property we are considering buying here soon, if it all works out, will need a lot of work that, in order to save money, Stacy and I will do what we can there. And yes, as Stacy mentioned, we have quite a bit of work that needs to be done in our personal home also. We have joked before about our home being like the shoemaker's kids, where everyone else's shoe in the village is in great shape and taken care of before our own. Our personal home absolutely takes a back seat to our investment properties, and that has to change too. Listen, you guys, we are blessed with both of our parents still alive and well. We have 3 great kids, and we want to be active in all of their lives also. And lately, we have just been on autopilot, and it's time for us to step back, reevaluate what we have to do and what we want to do, and reorganize our time so we can enjoy life more than we have been.
And to be clear, we are stepping back from our podcast. We will still put out our weekly newsletter with tips and informative articles that you can read. We do still plan to create that course on how to place your ideal tenant. And where we won't be posting regularly on social media, when we can, we'll put up stories on Instagram of what we're up to with our investments. So if you want to keep up with us, the best way is to join our mailing list. And you guys, we don't go crazy and email you every day. Once a week, we email our newsletter. And occasionally, if one of our partners is offering a great deal, we'll send out an email letting you know about it. But that's like every other month or something. You can subscribe at yourlandlordresource.com/subscribe. That's yourlandlordresource.com/subscribe. We'll link that in the show notes as well. Other than that, you can follow us on Instagram. When we start the podcast back up, or if we decide to post any tips on YouTube, we'll email those in the newsletter.
So this is not goodbye. It is, we'll see you all soon.
And until next time, you've got this, landlords.